Hey everyone, and welcome to Art to Heart, a video series in which I'll talk to you about some creative lessons that I've learned through my own personal experiences. You may have noticed that today's topic is why it's okay to make bad art, and I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't at least somewhat inspired by the piece you're seeing me make right now. You see, the thing with this piece is I had a concept in mind and I just wanted to execute it, but it just did not turn out the way that I wanted it to. And in all honesty, it's fine that it didn't. You see, I feel especially with social media, we only like to put forward the work that we feel most proud of or the work that we feel is even worthy to be posted. I think it's also kind of important to show the work that we're not happy with, to show that we have to learn from our mistakes. Because that's kind of the whole core of this whole topic, right? You can't improve without making bad art. It sounds really silly when you put it like that, but to make good art, you will have to make a lot of bad art. And it's kind of been my unspoken resolution for this year that I want to work more traditionally. I want to hone my traditional art skills because I am primarily a digital artist. You'll see at the end of this video, I wasn't really happy with how the traditional version turned out, so I decided to still recreate the concept digitally simply because I really like the concept. It's something that I came up with while I was walking home from work, and it's just something that I really wanted to make. And sadly, the traditional version did not turn out the way that I wanted it to, so I decided to also still give it a go digitally. But let's get back to the topic at hand, because I feel the reason a lot of us are afraid to create bad art is basically from a fear of failure. We don't like to make mistakes. We don't like for the concepts we have in our brains to turn out bad. But I was struggling a lot more with this when I just started art. And I'll also explain why. You see, when I was a teenager, I never was like the hardcore artsy kid. But I did like to doodle. I had this notebook that I always had with me in high school, and I liked to draw. And then one day, I made a drawing of a friend and I showed it to that friend. And that friend laughed at me, said it was really ugly and bad, and that I shouldn't be drawing. And I took that so personally, and also, mind you, this person is also very much no longer my friend. I think that's very important to mention. I do curate my friends now, thank you. But that comment stuck with me for so long that I truly internalized that I just was not able to draw, that I couldn't draw at all, and that I should just give up. And so I did for about a decade. Yeah, I'm being serious. I basically didn't draw for almost 10 years, and then I ended up in this online community and I saw like a bunch of art sprouting from it, and I was like, damn, I wish I could draw, and I just decided to give it a go again. And my first artwork was not great. I was mainly drawing for myself, but my friends were very nice and encouraging, and I just kept developing my skill over time and kept making mistakes and kept learning and kept creating ugly art until it was no longer ugly, or at least it was ugly less frequently. There's no such thing as never creating ugly art anymore. Even if you're at the top of your game, you're gonna make some ugly art, at times, and that's fine. It's all part of the process. And with every bad art piece, there is something you can learn from that. You can be like, oh, well, I don't like how this turned out, so next time I'll do this other thing, and then it will turn out better. And that's basically how you just keep growing your skill as an artist. And also, it's not just about growing your skill as an artist. I think it's also very important, especially for those who run an art-related business, that it's okay to sometimes just create art for the sake of creating art. Art can just be, It can just be something that fulfilled you, that made you happy, that made you reflect on something that came from the heart, or maybe it's just something you thought looked cool. I think, and I'm also very much speaking to myself here, so, you know, I just think it's very important that we learn to let go of the pressures of algorithms and social media, which I know is so much easier said than done. Don't get me wrong, I fully understand that that's, you know, a very daunting task to let go of, like, the numbers game. But I think just for the sake of our mental health and our sanity, we just gotta learn how to accept that not everything's gonna be perfect, and not everything's gonna be our favorite, and not everything's gonna be postable or suitable for social media. And I think we just gotta learn to accept that it's okay to not be happy with something and just let that go, you know? I think sometimes you just gotta learn that it's okay to just be creating for the sake of creating. And it doesn't always just have to turn out into this beautiful, perfect masterpiece that we can throw out into the world. With that being said, I would like to quickly point out about the art piece I'm working on in the video, because this is like the point where it went from, not too happy with this to, oh god, I ruined the entire piece. You see, my original intention was for this to have a very light pink background, but I found this acrylic paint, and in the tube it kind of looked like the color that I wanted, so I decided to use it. And then when I applied it to the paper, I was like, oh god, this is way too dark. And as you can see, like, the piece loses most, if not all, of its contrast. I find it an incredible eyesore at this point. Which was a shame, because I liked the concept, but I was not able to execute it to the way that I wanted it to that day. Which is also why in the digital recreation that I did of this piece, you'll see I finally have that perfect baby pink that I actually wanted as the background color. I do very much like the digital piece a lot more. But yeah, I did learn quite a bit from this piece. I'm also working on another traditional piece, which will be a different video, but I just wanted to say that that was the major pet peeve that I had about this piece that I made. But yeah, in conclusion, what I wanted to talk about is basically, it's okay to create bad art, because eventually your bad art will turn into good art. And it all comes down to just creating. And even if you don't improve every single time that you create bad art, at least you're creating something. And at least, hopefully, you're having fun. Because I feel like that's also a very important part of this, you know? Keep it fun. Keep having fun with your art, because I feel like when you do, it shows. And with that, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of this painting and the digital painting with this music, and I would like to thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll get back to it as soon as I'm able. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you would like to see more of my content, please click the subscribe button, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!